Stage 1, pressing for flight.
We're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. Clear. The clock has started.
The clock has started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to Pressing for Flight, live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds. We
Not this week.
finally got a launch.
Yeah.
That's over.
Yes, it is finally over.
You have to play that for like 3 seconds so you don't get demonetized.
Yeah. There has been discussion about that. Yeah, make sure you don't play it too long. I think, is it like 10 seconds or something? Well, we're not monetized anyway, so
yeah,
it
we're
doesn't.
not monetized.
But
who cares?
But they do have the power to shut you down. I'm your host, Stephen Marr. With me this evening, I have Matthew, Mr. Jordan.
Hey, y'all.
I have Stephen, Mr. Kegel.
Hi.
I have Becca, Mr. Penland.
Hello, everybody.
I have Matthew, Mr. Cutshaw.
What's going on, folks?
And joining us this evening, the insanely talented photographer and newest Space Coast resident, Trevor Mahlmann.
Thank you.
Maybe not the
Welcome to
newest.
town.
Yeah, welcome to town. Yeah, when did you get here? When did you actually move here?
June 13th.
Oh, okay, so it's been a
Been
while.
almost 4 months.
What how easy / difficult was it to make that decision?
I mean, the hardest part was deciding to or whether to or not to, because it was sort of right when COVID was happening.
Yeah, like the heat of it. Yeah.
I sort of had lease papers kind of in front of me, ready to sign. And I was just like, I put it off for a little bit, but then I sort of just knew like it felt like what I should be doing. So I was like, despite COVID, like, I still think it's the long-term right move for me. So I did it. And so far it's been killing.
Like you feel like it's a permanent thing, right? This isn't just like,
I mean, I'm just trying to set myself up and really like build out a career here.
Yeah.
Sort of hunker down and, put out roots.
Yeah. So obviously you're here for the launch photography, but not every day is there a launch. Like what's like a normal day for you if there's nothing rocket related going on?
Not much, honestly. I'm lucky to be close to the beach. I like to spend, time there.
Yeah. I saw you. I've never I deliver pizza, y'all. So I see people. I see Ryan and Mary Liz all the time going down Ridgewood. And I like was cruising up Ridgewood one day, and I see a guy in the big circle hat. What's the name of the hat? Whatever it's
Fishing
called.
hat.
Fishing hat. Yeah. And I was like, that looks like a Trevor hat. And then right as I got, like, I was like, oh yeah, that's Trevor. Like too late to honk or anything. I was like, yeah, there goes Trevor.
Yeah. No, I like the, it feels like a little small town. You sort of like know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
especially now, like there's just, like I mentioned Ryan and Mary Liz, like they haven't been here that long either. I think Tim Dodd was talking about moving here, but I don't think that's happened. But there's
I think it will eventually, probably. Just the same kind of COVID worries.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess that kind of puts a damper on things, man. It's just puts a hold on everything. Puts a hold on launch photography because they have to kind of restrict who can go out there. I got my "You're a Loser" email today from NASA. Because Matt will be the one representing Next Horizons out at Crew 1, so they still have to send everybody else the declination.
Y'all can't come.
Yeah, you not invited. Well,
That's a bummer. I hopefully, I know they tried to, at least Jim tried to get some more people onto the Cape side and move some people to the NASA side. Maybe he can pull some strings there again.
Well, at some point they'll have to loosen the restrictions, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So you're shooting for Ars Technica, right? Is that every launch you're shooting for Ars Technica, or is that?
Yeah. I mean, that's every launch. To sort of a little bit of background, I just cold emailed Eric in 2017. Was just like, hey, I see a lot of news organizations just using sort of SpaceX ULA or whoever the company is provided photos. Do you want something more,
Something
candid,
more unique,
or specific and unique to ours only, sort of with that exclusive angle. And really, I've just been shooting with him since.
Yeah. Well, it's a great Eric Berger is one of the best reporters out there.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
So you've been shooting for him since 2017? Because I thought it was fairly recent. Okay.
Yeah, Cirrus. Cirrus 10 was the first launch.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
That was your first launch period, like covering at all, or like when was your first time coming to Florida and seeing a rocket launch? I would like to get into like what hooked you in,
Yeah, for sure. So my first launch was Cirrus 4. I did the NASA Social.
Yes.
So the NASA Social is how I sort of kickstarted this. And hopefully once COVID's back and not messing everything up, they can start doing those again. Because I mean,
it's such a great opportunity, and the whole idea behind it is like you've got people like us that have kind of gotten our foot in the door kind of doing that, but there's so many people that really they're not into space, but they have like a huge following in some other area, and that's just it's really good for NASA and space in general.
There's so many avenues, like not only like big social media people that can come and help promote, but also I think largely people like myself who were students and just interested in space and thought it was like the coolest thing, and then somehow just like find themselves in a career or interested in a potential career. In hindsight, I definitely look back on that launch and have the little like feelings of, hey, maybe this could this is really cool. How do I monetize this and make it a thing?
And were you already doing photography at the time? Like I know you went to Purdue.
I had really just picked up a camera right that semester.
Really?
When I came here for CRS4.
Wow.
So I like borrowed a friend's camera to come down here.
Man. Now, so did it like come naturally to you? Like, cause I mean, we've all seen your work and, I know you would be humble, but we can all agree that your work is incredible. Like you are one of the best photographers on the Space Coast for sure. Like when you started out, did it seem like kind of easy to like composition and settings and stuff, or were you stuck in the P mode and just, firing away?
Stuck in P mode for a while.
Yeah.
And then moved to, AV and then a little bit into TV.
Yeah. Until you got some photos where it was a little dark and then
to get into M.
Yeah.
Then we tried bulb. So no. I mean I haven't taken any like physical or official courses or trainings or anything like that. So I feel like it has mostly come natural. And in the stuff that like in trying to teach other people stuff, it seems like it's something that it either clicks or it doesn't. And I don't really know how to put a finger on, what it is in terms of like what makes a good picture.
Right.
It's such a high in the sky kind of thing that, I guess it's hard to put into words.
I think a lot of it is just is experience from capturing the photo or even planning before on up through the editing and the final process, because sometimes you need to know what you can do in post in order to take a great photo at the time. Because I mean, if all the photographers around here started just posting their straight out of camera raws, you'd be like, oh, they don't always look that great straight out of the camera. Sometimes your lighting's perfect and it does, but most of the time it's like you take the photo and you know what you can do afterwards. And that just takes experience. It takes time. You can watch YouTube videos and stuff, but experience is what's, I think, most important.
Yep. Hands on.
Yeah. So you were doing, I know for like you've been full time as a photographer for quite a while. Like you've been doing like graduation photo. You went to Purdue. You were still living nearby and doing graduation photos and stuff. And did that? How did that? Like, how did you get your foot in that? How did you start building up clientele?
So I mean, I dropped out of school and I essentially just stayed there because I thought, if I'm young and I'm gonna go at this, like my best market is gonna be sort of right where I am, instead of trying to like build a whole new thing in a different location. I had already sort of like done the like free or like pro bono kind of like barter deals. You sort of like take pictures for a family friend and then they sort of help you on another avenue, but it's not actually like money to pay for things yet.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of those little like sort of people sort of owed me one kind of thing, and I figured if this is the place that if it's gonna work, it's probably gonna work out the best if I start here. And so I just sort of honestly the graduation pictures weren't even my idea. Someone just was like, "Hey man, can you take some graduation pictures for me?" And off to the races. So yeah, I think a lot of it is skill, but I mean, I would say more than 60-70% of it's probably just luck and timing.
Yeah, and maybe being likable. People like working with you, probably. Make sure we're watching the chat because I am having a hard time paying attention. So if anybody has a question to throw out there, just make sure we're paying attention.
Is there something I should? Do you guys have like a tweet that goes out right when you start? I should retweet to get people coming.
I tweeted like 45 minutes before the show. So if you look at my timeline, it'll be there.
Retweet. Yeah, I'll retweet that one right there. Cool.
Yeah.
Tweet.
Well, as far as luck and timing go, I mean, yeah, it sounds like it seemed to work out really well for you, but you put a lot of thought into it and you were very prepared and you had to do something to have all of those avenues prepared for you. You had to get yourself there. So I think it was more skill than.
Uh-oh, John Krause is in here.
I was about to say, John's in the house. He wants to know how you take picture of rocket.
Trevor, how take pic of rocket?
How you take? He's turned into Yoda.
Shiny black button top camera.
Shiny black button. Oh, it's this. Oh man, I keep hitting the one that's got the little bump on it, and it just like wants to change the ISO or something.
Oh, the ASA. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Rockets aside, do you have like a favorite shoot that you've done? Like, is there something like super interesting that people would?
Yeah. I mean, I have rockets aside. That's tough.
Well, because we know what your favorite photo is right now. It's behind you, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. Do I have the? Hold on 1 second. Where's the like change background thing?
It's under the like on the bottom left, that stop video button. Hit the little arrow pointing up, and you do your virtual background.
This is my other favorite picture.
Oh, that was CRS 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But this one takes a new spot, so sorry, CRS 15, you suck.
Yeah. Is that John Krause's photo?
Yes, this is. I think John Krause's picture.
I was hoping you were going to switch to John Krause's photo.
No,
Which one switch?
that's Mike Seeley, don't you know?
Yeah, right.
I actually just get his raw files and re-edit them, and that's my career.
Just crop them differently.
So I'm a hidden tier subscriber on his Patreon page, and I get all the raw files.
Oh, all the raw files.
Yeah.
Answer the question. Is there something?
Back to your question.
Something not because I want to get into this photo next, but
not to evade
something memorable.
The solar eclipse, I think, in 2017.
Yes.
Wow,
was pretty cool.
Do you have one? Do you have one you can throw up?
The transition, yeah, for sure. Let me do screen share. So this page right here.
Oh man.
Oof.
Whoa.
Oh, dude.
Dang.
Look at this.
Oh my God, that is so sexy.
Now's a good time to plug your print store.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Oh
one.
hells
Yeah,
That one's
yes.
pretty
If
sweet.
someone wants to throw the link there in the chat, that'd be awesome. But these, capturing not only the transition of the sort of the progression from sun to eclipse back to sun, but also the Bailey's beads and all the sort of phenomena and stuff like that.
I think, leave that picture up for a second, because I think one of the cool things, like, this is the only total solar eclipse I've ever seen, and I'll always know that it was the one I saw based on like the pattern of the corona at the time, because it kind of looks like an upside down Star Trek logo. It's from this angle it's like a V, but like that'll always stand out to me. Like that's the one I saw right there.
Wild. It's just so wild how it's the poles. I mean, you can see the north and south pole of the sun magnetically.
So it's tmahlmann.com, and Mahlmann is MAHLMANN.com.
Yep.
Hey, I'm an old pop. What does the F mean in chat when someone does that? Remember Matt told me, and I already forgot.
Respects.
Okay.
You press F to pay respects.
Yeah.
Video game thing, man.
Hand on the casket.
Yeah. John Cross gave you an F.
So that picture right there, are we looking at I'm assuming that's an ISS
You got
transit?
a space station transit in the middle of it?
Yep.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Super dope.
So Destin from Smarter Every Day and I were out in Wyoming.
I was in Wyoming.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, we got not
that.
only the eclipse, but the space station transiting.
Wow.
That's
That
just-
is beautiful,
That's
man.
unreal, man.
The rocket in front of the sun is cool, but I think this beats it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. That's just like, man, that's crazy good.
Yeah, that's
Luck and timing is a common theme. That is so awesome.
The sun is a common theme. The sun and the moon, I guess.
Yeah.
So I should keep that in mind for future photo ideas.
Yeah. And
Or become a palm reader.
For anybody kicking themselves for missing the last solar eclipse, there is one in April of 2024. I don't remember the exact date, but keep your eyes.
Try to make it that long.
Plan is all I can say.
Yeah, and it's another one that's kind of just going across the U.S. Like it starts in like southern Texas and then goes up. I think it exits in New England, right? Like it goes across the Midwest. And
Wait, hold on. Do we know if it's going across Boca Chica at all, or no?
It's going to be close, but I don't think it goes right across.
Can you?
It does go across McGregor, so hopefully someone puts a camera there to get like the progression over the tripod mount or a booster.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The progression over like the Grasshopper original Falcon test vehicle would be really cool.
Yeah.
Get in touch with Reagan.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Reagan, I got
Yo, that thing's gonna be a rusted pile of sticks by then, dude. I mean, it's currently sitting there rusting.
Yeah.
Hey,
You don't think there's squirting over a little WD?
No, no. I've been within 10 feet of the vehicle. It is rusting in place.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this photo, because that's why everybody's here. They want to hear, how on earth did you plan this out? Oh, and also, like, before the show, I kind of cut you off because I didn't want to go too far. But you guys, you and John Krause and Michael Seeley, you all were there for this shot, and you've been trying to get this shot for quite some time, right? Like when did you? When was it like, okay, we got to get this? When was the first attempt?
I think it was the Starlink. Thinking back to it now, it was the Starlink in November of last year. It was from Pad 40, and we needed to be. If you've ever been to Playa Linda Beach, we needed to be just south at one of the pull-offs on the east-west road after the gate, but before Beach 1 after you go north. And so we parked at Beach, whatever parking lot 1, and then started to walk towards one of these pull-offs, and we're basically just told no.
Yeah.
We tried to plead our case, and this is where the sun lines up, and it's going to do this thing, and they were just like, rules are rules. But
man, like I see that point of view, but man, this has been planned out,
Yeah.
So. We're not some scrubs, we're professional photographers, and we're just trying to get this shot.
yeah, we ain't no scrubs,
Yeah.
and then the song plays for 3 more seconds. There you go. So yeah, I mean, we've tried to get this before, and we. What's funny is we planned to be together at Playa Linda Beach, and I think Mike and John like sort of casually mentioned it to each other for this specific picture right here, but they didn't actually say like, "Hey, meet there." Then it was just sort of like, "Might go for this. Don't really know where it is," and we literally all showed up in the same location on the morning of. I hadn't talked to John. I hadn't talked to Mike. John and Mike had sort of talked, but not really. So it was like it felt like meant to be that we were all next to each other, trying to get it.
Right. So how does the planning begin? I mean, I know that there's Flight Club involved, and there's some photo pills.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything.
All right, this is the part you guys have been waiting for. He's going to walk us through how. How do you do this?
I still won't be able to do it.
You still won't be able to do it. Yeah.
So first, first off, you need to have a ideally, not a need, but ideally you'd have a launch soon after sunrise, like 20 to 30 minutes, so that you can mostly just put it over the pad and have it come up through it.
Right, before it starts really pitching.
There's a lot more play in terms of like where the pitch kick happens, and like the atmosphere can kind of, the winds might send it a little lower, a little higher. So once that happens, there's a lot more play in it. So we sort of tried to just go for the most basic, distance, altitude, that's an angle, make them align, get the shot.
Okay.
So I started with the launch being after sunrise. I was like, okay, this is a possibility. And then you go to weather, which on the Space Coast,
it's a little questionable.
Very unpredictable.
It just be a big question mark sometimes, even right up until the last second.
Yeah, which it was actually kind of neat because on the way, on the way to Kennedy, that's what I was driving through. I'm like, here we go again, because the day before, if you guys remember, was scrubbed for weather. It was like, how was there ever a possibility in the first place? Because it was just a downpour.
Absolutely.
And then once I got about to where the visitor complex is, it cleared up. Like no more rain.
Let's see if it'll work. This was an hour.
Oh, you gotta turn off that background.
Yeah. Oh well. There's a huge storm cell that was basically an hour before
launch.
Here we go. Let's do this.
Okay. Yeah.
That was an hour and 20 minutes before launch.
Yeah, I saw that like around when I woke up, and I went, I'm going back to bed.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
So the morning before, like everything looked sort of 60-40-ish, but worth enough to try because we had been to the press site, many times. We've all shot that launch angle, and if we happened to only get, shots of it from afar, it wasn't the end of the world.
Right.
We'd still get something.
There's still plenty of Starlink launches to go.
Oh,
yep.
A lot of Falcon 9s.
So basically, figuring out what time it was launching. After that, it was 7:29 and 34 seconds. And so at that time, then you can go into photo pills, which I have the screenshot of here. And at that time, the sort of azimuth, like if you were to turn from north to south to east to west, the azimuth was 97 degrees. So that's sort of like where you need to be looking. And the elevation of the sun at launch time or just after was going to be right around like 1.9 degrees up.
Okay.
So I basically needed to reverse engineer a location where I was
legally allowed to be
that far away, essentially just a right triangle. Like if you think about it, it's flat on one side, it's flat on this side, and then there's an angle from here up to that side over here. So I just needed to figure out, I had the angle, I had the direction I needed to point with the azimuth, and I just needed to figure out, where to go
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
Could I drive there? Could I walk there? Do I need to take a kayak or, whatever?
Right.
Is it on KSC property? So then the idea is sort of like, not even worth pursuing.
Right.
So I basically just started looking, and I took a compass. You can like go onto Google and search like Google Maps compass, whatever, and you can like turn the thing to 97 degrees and just like put it from the launch pad out and say like, along this line, this is that degrees away from the launch pad.
Okay.
So I basically drew this line, which is 97 degrees.
Should
so I was
you
like,
be
okay,
sharing
no,
your screen?
can't be on the. Oh, right. There we go. So I drew this line and was like, okay, can't be on the crawlerway.
No.
Can't be on the SLF.
Yeah.
Probably got to keep going. This road might work here, but I ended up settling on these two over here in Gator Creek area.
Yeah, I've been out there before.
So then I had the distance. So I had to figure out, like, almost as if you walk closer to an object and farther, the sort of parallax or perspective changes. So if you're 11 miles away, the rocket's going to be, say, 1 unit big, but the sun might be huge. And then if you get a lot closer, so I mean, say if you're standing at the bottom of the rocket, the thing is massive and the sun's tiny.
Yeah.
So I basically just had to figure out how far away I wanted to be. And that's sort of why I ended up picking the sort of Gator Creek area. Because if I go here to this handy dandy right triangle calculator, side A is the vertical, sort of how tall the Falcon 9 is. Side B is how far away I was in feet.
Okay.
And so 58,000 feet here translates to about 11 miles. And that made that angle, that teeny tiny little angle between the flat from me to the rocket is tall, whatever that angle was, is 0.22 degrees. And from engineering school, I remember that the sun is about the size of your thumbnail at arm's length, which is 0.5 degrees. To be specific, it's 0.53. But that meant that the rocket essentially would stack too tall within the sun, which, if you know the Falcon, the tail is just about as long as the rocket is.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is just perfect. Like, everything seems to be working out so far. And then the cloud that you might have seen Mike Seeley tweet about 3 minutes, 19 seconds before the actual liftoff, there was a huge cloud that was like directly crossing the sun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
So speaking of, Florida weather, but then to basically just verify everything. So going over in PhotoPills, you can put the pin down on Gator Creek, and then it'll tell you the elevation of the sun is 1.9 degrees. And then the azimuth was that 97 that I was looking for.
Right.
And I basically just kept moving this pin until I found it exactly 97. And put a pin on Google Maps, and then went there a couple days before, and was like, this could work, and just need the weather.
You went there around sunrise and verified it.
Not just the time, but just to like see if I could physically access the location.
Okay.
Because I know that these Gator Creek roads can be
rough,
like if there's like hurricanes or storms or whatever. I didn't know if there was still like leftover damage from previous storms.
Yeah. That road, it's a dirt road. It can get washed out for sure.
Yeah. So basically what I did was I went into Flight Club, and I just sort of wanted to double check dot all my I's and cross all my T's, and figured out if I put in those coordinates for the location, and I set the manual location, and then I go into the launch trajectory search and I search for, Declan has the incorrect naming scheme here, but V1 launch 12. And then you click this left clock here, it sets it to the launch time, and then starts counting. So if I pan down here, you can see it starting to lift off. and then it would also this would specifically tell me, which second it was going to be within the realm of the sun.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's crazy.
So when you hear me counting down in the video, I was counting down to when I thought it would come up over the trees.
Okay.
And would be able to physically see it.
And we should probably plug Flight Club if you're a photographer and you want to try to do this kind of stuff with launch photography.
This stuff, like, this is not possible without Flight Club.
Yeah.
You could have gotten it close, but you cannot get it this centered.
Right.
Just the precision of it is unbeatable.
And look at those shock waves. Yeah, pull that up again. Look. Okay, I took a photo of Atlas V a few launches, or I think it might have been Perseverance, and I had these weird kind of lines like that, and I was like, "What is it? I'm getting some kind of artifact from editing. I'm overdoing something." But then when I saw y'all's photos and saw these shock waves, it was like, okay, so this is a real thing that's actually happening, and it's just being amplified by the sunlight right here, right? Like these are actual, like, it's like sound waves pushing the air out, right? And like compressing in these points and causing it to look all like fuzzy like that.
Yeah. So the way I had explained it to me, his name is Chris Combs on Twitter. Dr. Chris Combs, I think, is his handle. If you scroll back a little bit on mine, I think I've retweeted him a couple of times, but he explained it that all the little bits that are coming out of the engines are moving supersonically. And then as they, sort of hit just like regular air, they slow down really quickly and make a little sonic boom. So that's like the crackling and speckling that you hear during a launch.
The popcorn.
So all of the little pops and whirs and basically like the pounding that you feel in your chest is all those little bits of fuel that are basically flying stupid fast out of the end of the rocket.
Yeah.
And immediately slowing down and doing like a little boom. That's countless times in a launch. And that's just visualized here in sort of
that's what the crackle looks like.
Yeah. What's crazy is every launch does this. You just don't see it clearly.
Yeah, because you need that bright light behind it to
It's wild.
And then
them all sort of like crossing over each other because the fuels are all, like the tail sort of dances back and forth. So you can, seeing them all cross over and stuff like that is just the turbulent flow, whatever nature of it.
Yeah.
It's just not uniform.
And then the heat, of course, like is causing the distortion out the back.
Yeah. So just like a candle in front of whatever. It sort of gets blurry. It's just the same effect.
And then it was like the perfect amount of haze to dim the sun, right? Like, were you using a filter?
Yeah, so I was using a 10-stop filter.
Okay.
And I think Mike and John, like sort of last minute, were like, "Nah, I don't need it." And I was like, I think I do. Yeah, and I was like, I know it's going to get a lot brighter. And it was anybody's guess.
Yeah.
So, again, that's where the luck comes in, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Or experience, instinct.
Yeah. And so a little more color on the sort of prep process. I went in here and I have a picture, basically the same, like 11. So sunrise was 7:19. And this launch was 7:29:34. And I have pictures from a previous lighthouse photo adventure. This is where the lighthouses saved me, and where the passion really monetized for me in terms of prep work. But I have a picture here with the Chicago Harbor Lighthouse. This is like exactly 11 minutes after sunrise. So I sort of had a ballpark of settings to work from without a 10-stop filter. And I knew the 10-stop filter would allow me, where the sun is blown out here, to basically bring that back down to,
bring it under control.
Not blown out. You can see, the histogram over here is just totally white on the right side.
Yeah, because once something's blown out, y'all, you can't do anything with it.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, if I go in here, see if I go on to develop, if I try and turn this down, you can see it's blown.
Yeah.
But at least I had a ballpark, settings to go from. So I sort of just navigated from that, and yeah.
Oh, what's that last one there?
This one?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that's the moon.
Sun, moon.
Oh man, that's awesome.
The theme, dude. Sun and moon. Here, let me do these two. Almost the same location too.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
close.
beautiful.
Insane. Well, is that it for that photo? Is there anything else we need to?
Unless people have questions in the chat.
Yeah. Has anybody seen anything that while y'all are sifting through, if let's see. Oh, what did
Krause said he didn't use a filter. That's all.
Oh, okay. Oh, Krause said, yeah, I definitely did not. He thinks Mike used one. Ken, I was talking to Ken Kramer today, and he was
Ken Kramer.
Ken Kramer. He was worried about y'all's eyes.
My eyes.
Yeah,
Very
but
concerned.
he was very concerned about your eyes looking through
Staring
the
at the sun the whole time, Trevor?
looking at the sun. So, and then I said, well, maybe they were using their live view on their cameras. So
well, then our camera sensors would be hurting quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Thankfully, it was still early enough. I think another 10, 15 minutes, it would have gotten pretty bright. Like midday, it totally would have just
you don't want to,
anything up. But it is still early enough in the day that through a DSLR, like through sort of exactly on the lens, being able to one-to-one see it, not just like a digital screen. I think it was still okay, especially because at least in my SIG I was using a filter.
Right.
But I think in others' sake, I think they sort of just positioned it, but then didn't look through it exactly.
Yeah.
I also wear sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean 10-stop sunglasses. I just buy those
pretty nifty.
whatever.
Yeah, Kyle said, "Isn't it not great for the sensor?" Yeah. So if you're in live view, then your sensor is getting all that action. But if you're not, then it's that little mirror inside is reflecting it up and through the. Now, I'll tell you this: long time ago, there was a Venus transit. This is probably 5-6 years ago. There was a Venus transit. I'm up on a mountain. I had my telescope, but I didn't have a solar filter or anything. But I knew that if you pointed your telescope at the sun and then held a piece of paper out from it, you could see the image projected onto that piece of paper, and you see the little Venus dot.
Yeah.
So I got into a conversation with somebody and was not paying attention and wasn't continuously adjusting where my telescope was pointed. And all of a sudden I see that my eyepiece is smoking. It was one of those erector eyepieces that takes the upside down image and flips it for you. And I learned that day that if you're pointing at the sun, you better be pointing straight at the sun, because otherwise it's going to burn up the inside of your eyepiece. And that's what it did. It melted the inside of that eyepiece and ruined it. Is that a danger with cameras like this?
It would that would do that to your eyeball and your retina and all of the things that are sacred about your eyesight.
That you need for photography. It's important.
I've done solar stuff before with telescopes and have the little plastic cover on top of it.
Yeah.
And those little things that you throw at the ground and they pop.
Yeah. Pop. Not pop.
It sounded like that, and the little plastic thing popped and was sent flying off the end of the thing.
Oh wow.
And there was you go pick it up and it looked like you shot a little pellet or BB through the eyepiece. It had pulled open on the other side. So that, but into your face, eyeball.
Into your eye holes.
Oh, bueno.
Yeah, don't look at
Good
the
cereal.
sun.
Yeah.
Don't look at the sun. My favorite way to look at like an eclipse, if you don't have the glasses, take a colander like you would drain pasta in and hold it up above your head so that the shadow of the colander is down on the ground right in front of you.
Right.
And you don't get to see just one eclipse. You get to see like 200 of them at the same time. It's beautiful and wonderful. I
Thanks,
taught my
Bill
ki-
Nye.
Yeah, I wish I was as cool as the as Bill Nye, the everything guy.
Right.
Well, not every-
Yeah, I just realized I can annotate on here too. So
Right.
I will let me do just a quick annotation on this as well.
All right.
So here, where's the annotated back? There it is.
Hey, I got
Oh.
lost right about there last Friday.
Where?
What about here?
No. Down if you go south over to where the VAB is over here, and they go out to like pad 39B.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was lost right around there on base,
Mhm.
Oops.
looking for the building for my interview with
Gotcha.
SpaceX. They don't give you great instructions.
They're
I
like,
don't
you know
think
where 39A is, right?
planning anything at 39B, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of
Uh,
construction over there right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going. Well, when I was on base, they had 3 rockets vertical at the same time, which is really cool. And I drove past all 3 of them, so it was pretty awesome.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Now there's only one.
Now there's
Yeah,
only
so-
one.
The little annotation I wanted to do here was essentially it's just right triangle. It was a distance, which 11 miles. It was a height of 2 degrees. There was that angle between me, my viewing location, and my insanely good artistry skills here.
Yeah.
The rocket
Alex, just
triangle.
like you.
I'm not going to draw a rocket.
Trevor
leave
is
that for
trying-
everybody's
he's-
imagination.
He's over here trying to challenge my diagram skills. I
He's
don't,
doing a great job.
I don't know who
He-
you think
he
you're messing
actually
with
is.
here.
You better get on it, Steven. I tried that and I failed. So.
So this was 11 miles, and this was about. I knew this was like 1.9 degrees.
Right.
This is. I'm just so impressed with myself.
This is great. This is better than anything I've ever done. Diagram fight, Kyle said.
Who needs rocket pictures?
Yeah.
I'll just keep this for my career. Maybe I'll start a Patreon for my drawing skills.
Two men enter, one leaves with a cramp.
And literally it's just this, get underneath and make the sun be sort of here but up above the pad, and yeah, the photo pills, the flight club and everything else sort of like cross reference each other.
Right.
But like Pythagorean theorem you learn in like, I don't even remember what
3rd,
grade.
4th grade, or whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
6th
it's
grade.
like-
Who knows? Yeah.
It's like
Algebra.
6th grade
Geometry.
now, I think.
Yeah.
I slept
So-
through geometry and I passed with flying colors. But of course, I've forgotten most of it now.
So that's it for my invitation. I just wanted to show everybody my skills.
All right.
Thank
great.
you, Professor.
Well, y'all in chat, if you have any other questions, obviously you can still throw them up there at any point. And also, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, always be looking out for ideas for show titles. Just something silly that was said or whatever. Just throw them in there.
Already got a great one.
Oh, you already got a great one?
contender.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what it is, or do we have to wait?
It's how take pic of rocket.
Trevor, I'll take picture rocket.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what we have for. Oh yeah. Okay, I actually meant to start with this because we just went through our Scrubtober.
Austin Adams,
yeah.
he's a patron of mine. Awesome
Really?
dude. Yeah.
That's Austino 1999 asked Jim Bridenstine, can you please put out a formal bounty for the GSE gremlins plaguing every launch this week and make the reward Mountain Dew? And Jim Bridenstine, he's become a lot more active on Twitter recently.
I think he's falling into the role nicely. I think he was kind of wary of being that open with the public, but he sees that it's actually a really good thing, so he's like having fun with it now.
Yeah, and especially because people genuinely like him, you know.
Oh
and
yeah,
he,
he's like super nice.
I hope he's seen the outpouring of support. Like, there's been some recent talk about, you know, whether Trump wins or loses, he might not be the administrator next term. And man, I hope that's not the case. And I think he's seeing that the space community also agrees that should not be the case. But he said the reward will be Diet Mountain Dew.
What about Zero? Diet Mountain Dew Zero.
Listen, he says diet. He has said it twice now.
Yeah.
He prefers diet.
people.
He gets zero when he has to.
Yeah, he's been correcting people with the Diet Mountain Dew here recently.
Have other people been interested in his Mountain Dew preferences? Like,
I mean-
why has it become such a thing? Because I know we've talked about it every show for the last like 4 weeks. Are other people talking about it too?
Oh yeah.
It's been a thing.
It's just it's sort of a meme that that
And he
Brian,
puts that bottle front and center. When
Yeah.
he does the heating.
it's like he's being paid. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe get some kickback.
Oh, actually, I'm Jim Bridenstine.
Can't.
So I had this giant Diet Mountain Dew bottle on my way.
That's how you know it's really me.
Yeah, right.
Because who else could put this huge Diet
It
Mountain
was like
Dew
the
in?
Mark Zuckerberg on sitting on the seat cushion.
Well, if ever someone takes over the a lizard
Right.
suit,
A
then
clone
for the regular Mountain
situation,
Dew,
yeah.
you'll be like, that is not him.
Yeah.
It's like a Coke Zero or something. He's like,
Yeah. That is not you. Well, apparently it worked, whatever it was, because the scrubs are over, and we're not going to have any more scrubs the rest of the year. You heard it here first.
Hopefully not.
True.
Yeah. Oh, and I also wanted to ask chat, for some of you, this is going to be obvious, but name this structure, and throw it in the
In
chat.
chat?
Yeah.
big build.
Oh,
It's big.
I know what it is.
And then another just kind of a neat thing that I think everyone should see. Jason Major on Twitter, that's JP Major. He posts a lot of interesting stuff. You should be following him. But look at this. This is Prometheus orbiting Saturn, and just look at how it disrupts the F ring as it goes by. It's just
Harry got it.
Harry got it.
They're like a wave.
Yeah, it's like pulling some of it, because just in case
It exerts some gravity on the dust as it's passing through, so like it's pulling some of that with it. Just like if you were to blow a smoke ring in the air and then wave your hand through it, your hand would carry some of the smoke with it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
If that photo was full size, it'd make me dizzy.
And just in case there's anybody out there that doesn't know this, the rings of Saturn are made up of billions of small and sometimes not so small rocks. It's and
Ice
there's
and dust particles for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many of them that when you look at them at a distance, it looks like a solid thing. And so as this tiny moon, I wish I could tell you the size of it. Does anybody want to Google that real quick?
I want to know why it looks like a bean and not round.
Most celestial objects are not round. In fact, the Earth is not round. It's shaped more like a potato.
Right, but like one of the definitions, or part of the definition of a planet, is that it's big enough to round itself out.
Yes.
But when you have a small moon like this, it's the gravity. It doesn't have enough gravity to like flatten itself out, right? Like there's, like on the Earth, there is a limit to how tall a mountain could be, because there's so much gravity that it'll like it smooths itself out. It becomes round. But when like this is essentially a large asteroid, so
There
it
ain't
can
no mountain high enough,
do what?
Steve. There ain't no mountain high enough.
No, there ain't. To keep me from getting to you, babe.
Well, now I got to get that sound clip.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of moons. Saturn and Jupiter have between them they have over 100 moons. I think.
Oh yes,
like,
absolutely.
What is it? Jupiter has like 60 something, and Saturn has like 40 something.
Yeah, somewhere around that. And we really didn't know that until like Juno and Cassini and these missions, even back to like Voyager, is when we really started to discover all these extra moons, because there's only so much you can see from Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually,
So-
it's kind of technically correct to say that the number of moons Saturn has is unnumberable because the rings are made up of those tiny little
the
moons.
tiny rocks. Yeah.
For now.
And they're thinking that actually the rings used to be a planet, or not a planet, but a giant moon that orbited Saturn and broke up due to some, celestial event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How come we just have the one? Or do we? Like, when do we get more moons?
I think that there's some thought that the Earth used to have a ring system, maybe not as prominent as Saturn. But especially in the formation of the moon, like the reason we have the moon is because, or so we think at this point, is because there was there was an impact of another planet that was roughly the size of Mars smacked into the Earth. Some of that material like joined the Earth, and some of it was thrown out around the Earth, and at that point it probably had rings. But then eventually, enough of that material clumped together to have enough gravity to start gathering other material, and it's kind of exponential. It just kind of grows. It's like a snowball effect, and it starts gathering up all of that material as it orbits around the Earth. But why we only have one?
So a moon grows.
Yeah, it's
actually moving away from us very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed moving away from us very slowly.
And we know
That's
that.
true.
And we know that because of something that the astronauts put on the moon a long time ago. They put these
bicycle reflectors.
Yeah, they put these reflectors up there, and we can measure the distance of the moon. Of course, the moon's
With
orbit
lasers.
isn't a perfect circle, although Perfect Circle is a great band. The orbit isn't a perfect. It does move closer and further, but when they average out the distances, the moon is gradually moving away at like a centimeter a year or something.
It's like 2 inches a year, some small, ridiculously small amount that would never be like noticeable if we didn't go to the moon.
Kyle said the moon is just trying to social distance.
Yeah, 2020. But we got the James Webb that's going to be launching soon, and we're going to be able to see all kinds of stuff.
Actually, I didn't have anything pulled up for that, but I'm glad you mentioned it because they did just
I
say
can't wait for that launch.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome, and it's going to take a little while for it to get into position.
Mm-hmm.
They had some good vibes apparently recently.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, they just went through their environmental test, making sure that it has what it takes to withstand a rocket launch.
And not just any rocket launch, the massive Ariane 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Total chunk.
That is a chunk.
It was Ariane that you traveled down to South America for, right?
Yeah, John and I both.
What? You've been to Kourou?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
How does that work? They just email you out of the blue, like, hey, you and your buddy John, you want to come on down?
Sort of, yeah. We got connected with them, and they wanted to, sort of promote what ESA's doing. It's sort of a conglomerate of ESA, CNES, Ariane Group, and they all sort of work together to provide, Europe assured access to space.
Right.
And so, they just wanted to, bring like. There's
world-renowned launch photographers.
Yeah, marketing, but they wanted to bring like. There's nothing like in the U.S. Like I don't think there's like the Space Coast Steve or the Chris G NSFs in Europe doing this in Kourou or in Baikonur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's this like really tight knit group of people who are like
passionate about
about this like same thing.
There's nowhere that rockets launches frequently, so that's kind of fair.
Right. So I think they wanted to sort of bring a little bit of that interest through John and my following, and I think they hope to do more of it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was cool. You guys put out a lot of great content, like videos and stuff of what it was like to go and set remotes there.
We got to be, we were literally right underneath the rocket.
Yeah. You guys, like the access they gave you guys, it looked like you could pretty much go wherever you wanted. Like you had a lot of time out there at the pad to kind of soak it in and see where you wanted to set up.
Yeah, and luckily we had a couple. They were willing to work with us through a couple of scrubs because I think it was originally supposed to go on a Wednesday, and it didn't end up going to the following Tuesday. But we had to leave on Wednesday, and there was no going back.
Yeah.
So if it hadn't gone when their final attempt, we would have been SOL. We would have had to go pull the remotes and fly back to Paris, then to fly back to the US, and not have any launch photos.
So basically they're like, look, these guys, they got to leave tomorrow, so let's just go ahead and not scrub. How about that?
It's like how when launch companies sort of have those constraints and they're like, well, they're not going to worry about that, and they just set it higher for today's launch.
Yeah. Actually, me and Becca were talking about that last night, about how like margins. She was talking to somebody at work about how, like the margins of launch and how sometimes they'll kind of go outside margins and stuff. I think what it really is they have a certain level of experience with their rocket, and they know what it can take.
Right.
And sometimes something will be right on the margin, and I'm not talking about weather. I'm talking about something more internal. Huh?
They're okay with a little bit of flex.
Yeah, because they
also like when you hear something like, oh, it's operating at 130%, like for the engines, they're designed for a certain percentage. Now, when they actually use them, they find, oh, it actually goes beyond our design specifications. That's when they would say something like, oh, well, it's operating at 130%. Well, yes, it's operating at 130% because that's 130% of what they had designed it for. Not necessarily 130% of its performance output.
With like shuttle, sometimes they'd be like, we're 110% throttle or whatever. Yeah, like how can you be at 110% throttle?
So I want to know about the. Didn't you go to China and try to do some launch there too as well?
Japan.
I've been to Japan.
Was it Japan? Okay, Japan.
Not China yet. Hopefully, China stops launching boosters
onto their people.
Yeah. Yeah, but you went to Japan and you didn't get a chance. It didn't launch, did it?
Yeah, so it turned out like we hoped. Ariane wouldn't, unfortunately, and we were only able to stay for one attempt, and it didn't end up going for about another 2 weeks, which, depending on how you look at it, probably was a little bit of a blessing.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What else we got here?
Kind of like the Delta. If we were, if you were coming from overseas for the August 26th attempt of L4, it would have been kind of a big move to still be here October 6th.
You're a hotel bill. A big hotel bill.
Yeah. 2 months of hotels. Not bad.
What was this? What was my idea here? Oh, this was Jonathan McDowell. He's another one, just like Jason Major, that just posts really interesting stuff. I thought it would be cool to show where is the Mars fleet, because we launched 3 spacecraft to Mars this year.
Did the Tesla Roadster hit Mars?
It did not hit Mars. It came within 0.5 aeronautical units.
Astronomical units, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an astronomical unit, if you don't know, is the distance from Earth to the Sun, so 93 million miles. But yeah, it did have its first close approach.
If you'd like to be truly unique on Twitter, one suggestion I may offer is setting your location to 1 AU. I don't think anybody else has ever done that before.
There you go.
Yeah,
just congratulations, chat. Whoever does it first, you get a lot of followers for that. So yeah, in addition to that, showing you where they are now, like it looks like it's almost halfway. It's not really, because Mars.
Who's going to get there first?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Is it like a tortoise in the hare kind of thing, where the person who launched the last is going to get there first? It could be. Well, I mean, and if Perseverance doesn't get there first, Tori's going to be like, I should have put that 5th booster on there. Why would I launch with only 4? Yeah, but also Jeff Barrett posted this website. Now, I went there earlier, and I was having an issue with, I get this like frowny face up in the corner. But if you just Google follow NASA's Perseverance rover in real time,
you should find this website. It's an official NASA website, but it will show you an animation of where the rover is. It'll kind of do like this. It'll like pan around the spacecraft, but you can also, like, if you full screen it, you can get a lot more options and angles, and maybe even like step forward in time and stuff. I was hoping to be able to show that, but it is just not wanting to load. Maybe
Got a little sad face.
Yeah, I know. Like it when I first loaded this page up, it was there, and then I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go full screen, and I went full screen. It was like, nope.
It just needs some Diet Mountain Dew.
True.
Feed it to the servers.
Let me see if this will work for me, and maybe I can.
Yeah, see if you got it.
There we go. I got it.
Okay. Here, let me stop sharing, and then you can pull yours up. Maybe I have too much going on or something.
Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That works too.
And then full screen it. Oh yeah.
Journey.
And then you should be able to click and drag and pan around.
Hey.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Solar panels look like they're facing towards the sun. That's good.
That's good. That's important. Really.
Yeah. There's our star that the rocket appeared in front of.
Yeah.
I'm really curious of what that roadster looks like right about now. I bet it's all bleached out.
Oh, it's definitely bleached out from all the
Probably.
radiation. If it's in one piece, I think it.
Yeah, tons of debris been hitting it.
Yeah, like micrometeorites and all kinds of stuff. Like it's not going to be in good shape.
Yeah, because it's not built to withstand it. Whereas
No, they did not do anything to modify that vehicle to withstand launch or flying in space or anything like that. He just threw it up there.
Nah,
They
they probably
basically
made
just took
sure
the cuts out.
it could do launch and not like fall apart inside the fairing.
yeah, that was probably sure there's some kind of testing.
A
That would
vibe
suck.
test.
Yeah.
Starman doesn't have his head anymore. His head's been knocked off.
Man. Alien came up and grabbed his helmet.
No, it's just a crack in the middle of the helmet. And
What's really cool about this graphic of the Perseverance is it's slightly spinning, which stabilizes its motion.
It's pointing, yeah. It's
So
like a bullet.
it
Right,
acts like a
exactly.
gyroscope, right?
Like the New Horizons out at Pluto, it would actually need to switch between pointing to send back information and pointing to, because it could only do, I think it only had enough power to do sort of data capture or sending. So when it was sending, it basically spun itself up really fast so that it didn't have to use that power to maintain position to send the signals. So it could save the power.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's insane that they are able to have that much power out there. Now they're using nuclear. They're not
They
using
use
solar panels.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's here right now, everybody's names is on that rover right now, correct?
On this rover, yeah. I think
not
yeah,
mine.
I'm pretty sure I did it.
What?
I have a screenshot of
I
my
have a
phone
horrible memory for things I need to get accomplished.
somewhere. Like putting your name on a rover. That's going
Like
to
putting my
Mars.
name on a rover that's going to Mars. I'll hit the next one.
Just do Starship. Just sort of engrave your name on the side.
Just sneak
If I
in.
ever get the opportunity, I have the scry right here.
There you go.
Are y'all serious?
Yeah, they did a thing where, and NASA's been doing this with, like they did it with the Parker Solar Probe.
Parker Solar Probe,
yeah.
Insight.
Where you can submit your name, and they just have a little memory card on there that has the names of all these people that have submitted their names, and it travels on the spacecraft.
Yep.
It's just sort of a public outreach kind of thing, get people excited about it. And they send you a like a boarding pass that you can screenshot and save on your phone. Yeah.
I'm going to Mars.
Going to Mars.
Yeah, my name
We'll
is already
say-
on Mars.
I really liked the sunset arrival of the drone ship tonight.
Yes, I did too.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah, here, let me stop sharing. I mean, it's been behind me this whole time. But
Wow, it's very nice.
yeah, and actually I was like, man, we're going to do the show tonight, and then I'm going to have to, jump off real quick because we've got to be up at the port for booster return. Now, I know probably some people are you planning on going for just read the instructions? I'm not either.
Pooped, man.
Hmm?
I'm pooped, man. The past couple days.
Yeah. Been
I
well,
was-
yeah, because you were up there last night. Here, let's show what you got, because we had here I've actually, oh, there you go, perfect. Well, this isn't what this isn't actually what I was going to show.
Two of those photos.
Do what?
I could pull up the fairing scissors photos to show after that.
Yeah, if you want to do that. So this morning I didn't go out to the arrival of the twins because my roommate had to take him to the shop. His car was in the shop, so I had to drop him off. So I was like, well, how about I'll just go ahead and go to bed, pick up, or go take him to get his car, and then go up to the port. And Trevor happened to be there, and he suggested taking a helicopter flight, and that was a great idea because we got some really good shots of the inside of the fairings from the sky.
Oh yeah,
Nice. Yeah, really nice.
And
all the detail.
So much, yeah. I was looking at yours, and I was like, man, these, like, that helicopter pilot did not give me an opportunity on my side. I just want to put that out there.
You were leaning hard across.
I was the whole time, man. I was leaning across the entire time, and I don't know why I couldn't sit on the same side as you, even though he tried to explain it, but it didn't make any sense to me. It was going to be
as a pilot. I mean, whether you're on one side or the other,
your center of gravity or your center of mass is going to be off one way or the other. So why can't we just be on the same side? I don't know.
That shot right there on the screen, with the shadows of the people is so cool.
Yeah, and
I didn't even really see that. I was just spraying and praying, honestly, because we only had 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Or something. You go up and go down.
Yeah, spray and pray. That's exactly right. Just try to point it in the right direction and just take shots.
You can see there's a little bit of water in the lowest part of the fairing there.
You're right.
You see it down there,
right there.
This is something nobody's ever thought about, taking a helicopter when the fairings come in. So this is a great idea.
Yeah. Trevor looked over. He's like, you want to take a helicopter flight? And I was like, yep. I do.
Yep. Sure do. Yep. Let's do it.
Yeah,
because usually they're facing the other way with the sort of dome part up to the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get them in potato chip, then you can see the interesting bits.
Get them in that potato chip fashion.
Bacon bits, the sour cream, and cheesy spread. You're good to go.
That was a damn good idea, man.
I think people really like these. I haven't looked through your comments, but I know I had a similar shot like this, and everybody just loved seeing the semi truck at this angle. For some reason, it helps people see the scale of it, and it's that truck could fit inside that fairing.
Yeah,
huge.
They're massive.
Yep.
Somebody suggested throwing an outboard motor on the back of it and using it as a boat.
$6 million yacht.
Yeah, right.
With no roof.
And do you have something you wanted to pull up for the actual arrival?
Sure. Yeah, I could just share my screen here.
Yeah, you got some good video. I think you took a. Oh man, that's beautiful.
So this is it's not handheld. It's on the tripod, but I was just slowly panning with it, and I just basically was shooting shot after shot after shot of basically It was 1/6 of a second. Pictures, which is just incredibly difficult to even get close to sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
when they're
on top of
moving
that,
sideways to you. Yeah.
2.8, and this one was 20,000 ISO.
Oh my God!
Whoa.
Wow. 20,000.
Dang. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. So even with a 2.8 lens and a 1/6 of a second, that's how dark it was.
Yeah. And this is you took this at the boat ramp, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really dark out there, y'all. At the boat ramp, there are no lights out there. When it gets a little closer to fish lips and gators and stuff, there are some lights that'll help you out. But out there at the boat ramp, which is right next to jetty without going into jetty, it's tough.
Yeah.
What you see here, so the boat in the front is sharp, but since it's at 2.8, the back of the boat's already out of focus.
Oh wow, yeah.
The planes. But if you look up here to the stars, they're completely motion blurred. Obviously, 'cause they're still. So I was basically just like trying to match speed of the boat as it was going by.
That's tough to do, y'all. If y'all out there if you're not photographers, that is very difficult to do.
I think I got my training from a couple of my times trying to shoot the Indy cars in Indianapolis at the Motor Speedway there, just like consistently going like that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So,
those head-on shots.
I'm really glad they had the light turned on too. This was the same settings, brought up about another 2 stops. So yeah.
And the center light, man. I don't think I've ever seen them come in with that center light on.
Usually it's this one back here that they turn on facing forward.
Oh, that's nice.
This shot facing forward is when we were there last time.
Right,
too.
right. The head-on shots. Yeah, I sometimes wonder if they see you're out there and then they're trying to help you out a little bit, throw the lights on.
Right. So
yeah,
it's always something different.
Yeah. So that was at like what, 3:00 this morning?
Yep.
Which was
still chooching.
Yeah. Which is right at the end of what Gavin said. I think he said it was going to be somewhere between like 12:30 and 3. And
yeah. I think. Let me see here. Let me just go into Lightroom, and we've got fairing catchers. Where's that? Oh, here we go.
Eric in the chat votes for the show title, how make pick of rocket.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's the winner.
Oh, that's great. See, yeah, this looks much sharper on the shared screen.
Yes, this is the real shot, not just the web version.
Right.
Hey.
And let me go to the all catalog. You can see my horrible attempts before and after the actual sharp one.
Oh yeah, let's see those. Okay, yeah, and yeah, look at the Mischief logo there. Yeah, you can.
And then the next one, you get sharp
better.
And then I think the one after that was okay. Also there, and then it starts
another blurry one.
So it sort of it fades in and out.
I wanted to show everybody. I don't know if it's. I would assume it's somewhat widely known, but it might not be. Let's go to you got that shot of the logos, like the catch logos. Yeah, right here.
What is that sweater? Is that an ad?
No, dude, that was you, man. That was yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't know, just like on Dragon, they would put like a little ISS emblem on there for every trip that it's had to the space station. They do these little emblems. This is for water because it landed in the water, was scooped out. But now this fairing half has earned a fairing catcher logo. Do you have one of those you can show real quick?
What's that look like?
I do.
Yeah, man, I love that SpaceX does that, man.
Yeah.
Just the attention to detail is just amazing.
Tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure someone will get one or has.
That's just so cool that they do this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So this was
us being like super fans. We eat this kind of stuff up.
Yeah. And it also helps. Like, I mean, the fact that the boosters have the number on there, like by the grid fin and then also down by the legs, like the one when we were leaving remote pickup after the GPS scrub, we got to see a booster being rolled up towards 40. I don't know if they went to 40 or if they kept on going north, but
the hangar there.
Well, we had just left the pad and we were on the road heading south to exit the Air Force Station, and here comes a Falcon 9 coming down the road. And at first, I think it was Haskell. He texted me. He's like, oh, it's a brand new one. And but it wasn't. It turned, when it got closer, it became obvious that it was a used one, and it has the little. Well, now I can't remember. I think it was. No, this wasn't 58. It was Anyway, it had the number down by the legs, so I was able to see it and tell which one it was.
Towards the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is the 11th Starlink mission. This was from Pad 40. And if you zoom in here to the bottom, you can see a little
yeah, there it is.
Aww.
Cool.
So that other one had 2 waves. I assume they'll put one of these just above the 2 wave icons.
Yep.
If they end up flying it again, maybe it won't be up to spec.
Right.
But if they do,
I mean, it was caught in the net. You would think that it would be.
Yeah, hopefully. It's just that corrosion that gets them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, this is kind of a neat little learning experience. Scroll back down a little bit. The little things that poke out there. So these are holes in the fairing. Up a little bit. Yeah, the parts that I don't know what they're called, but these things fall off.
Like a dryer vents.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so these things, the way they're angled is so that the wind catches them as the rocket's launching, and they'll actually fall out, revealing holes. And the reason those holes are there is because as the Falcon 9 ascends through the atmosphere, the thickness of the atmosphere gets less and less. And if those weren't there, then the pressure inside the fairing would be different from the pressure that's outside the fairing, and you could have the fairing actually blow apart. So this is this is their method for equalizing the pressure on the inside and the outside.
You could see through my drawing that the air rushes in where these come off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see it pretty clearly. Actually, this is highly scientific right here, y'all. But yeah, these actually these fall off fairly early in flight.
Everywhere.
So like every once in a while, I see people asking about those. Like, oh, are those new? It's like, no, those are not new. Those have been there for quite some time. Yeah. Let's see. We are over an hour. Let's see what else we got here. I wanted to.
High-res photo. What camera do you use for that?
What?
I was just asking what camera that was on. That was pretty highly detailed.
Yeah, what is probably your 5D Mark IV, Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor's
he was wondering what camera you were using on that.
For the fairing shot?
Yeah.
I think that was. Let me go here to Starlink. I think I had them all in the same gallery back then. This was 5D4. Yep. 300 and a doubler.
300 and a doubler.
You pull in the full res so it's not pixelated, and you can see the little glyph.
You guys, you may have heard that Chris Ferguson has chosen not to fly on the first crewed flight of Starliner. Let's just listen real quick to what he had to say, and I don't really want to speculate too much because he gives his reason, and I'm going to take him at his word for the time being.
Hi, Chris Ferguson here from the Boeing Starliner program. I want to share with you a difficult and personal decision I've had to make. I have chosen to step aside as the commander of the crew flight test scheduled for next year. I'm deeply committed to human spaceflight. I'm dedicated to the Starliner program, and I'm passionate about the team that has built her. But next year is very important for my family. I have made several commitments which I simply cannot risk missing. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going into space next year. The Boeing team has been very understanding. The crew is doing wonderfully, and thank you for your understanding too. Hi, Chris Ferguson here from the Boeing Starliner program.
Yeah, so there you go. He's got some prior engagements with his family. He doesn't reveal what that is, but I imagine
I thought I saw somewhere a wedding or something.
Could be.
A wedding would make sense.
Yeah, maybe.
I would assume it's probably something to do with the fact that OFT became OFT2.
Right.
And
no, his daughter is actually getting married.
Okay,
How long was he supposed to be in space?
He's probably expecting to be home by now from CFT.
Yeah.
Because how dare someone plan their wedding during that time?
Well,
no, he was already supposed to be done and gone when he was named commander.
If Boeing had their S together, it would have been done and over.
And
with.
there was a point that it did seem like Starliner was going to fly crew first, especially after the Dragon anomaly during their static fire test when it blew up. But Emery Kelly has a possible date for us on January 4th is when the Boeing and NASA are looking at the uncrewed test flight, the reflight.
Oh, it's into the new year now.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, so there you go. So hopefully we'll get that uncrewed test flight and get Starliner flying with crew before next summer, hopefully.
Maybe before SLS launches.
Hopefully before SLS launches, yeah. And then also another one worth talking about is you can watch the fleet sometimes to get clues about missions and timing and stuff. And as Michael Baylor points out, the GPS-3 mission is definitely pushed longer than just a few days. In fact, we already mentioned how Just Read the Instructions should be back in port tomorrow morning, which indicates that it's more than just a few days. So if it was going to be, what's today, the 8th, if it was going to be like the 12th, they probably would not have bothered coming all the way home. But the fact that they brought Just Read the Instructions all the way back indicates that they'll probably be not this week, and maybe like late next week. So from here, just like we kind of always do, is like watch the fleet, see when they actually leave. What were you going to say?
Maybe even longer.
It could be. I mean, they had an abort that was right after the T-Teb. Right? They shot the T-Teb and then the engines shut down. I don't know if any of the engines actually ignited, but it does seem like it might be something to do with hardware on the rocket and not ground support, like many of these other scrubs were.
I can't remember where I heard it, but I had read somewhere that it was an out-of-family reading on one of the engines, and they were going to have to swap that.
I didn't hear about the swap part, but Elon did say that it was higher than normal pressure inside one of the turbo pumps. He said turbo machinery, so I don't know if
turbo machinery, turbo pump.
Yeah.
Well, he came down here to Cape Canaveral. He needs to straighten those boys out.
Whip it up into shape.
Yeah.
He came here to chew gum and kick ass, and he's all out of gum.
Yeah. So he just kicked ass.
Yeah. Let's see. What's this? I don't know what this last tab is that I've got. Oh, yeah.
History tab.
Yeah, a picture of one of the Falcon Heavy side boosters during a full duration. This is where they ship their rockets to McGregor for a full duration static fire test. And
no turbo machinery problems here.
Yeah, no turbo machinery. And I always like to take this opportunity to explain this little bit here. This cap that they have on here, and they have these lines that go down, you don't see that when they're doing a static fire on the pad. The reason is those static fires on the pad are only a few seconds. They're like 3 to 7 seconds, I think, is basically what we've seen.
Right.
These tests are full duration. So you think about how heavy this rocket is when it's fully fueled. Well, the longer those engines are running, they're obviously eating through that fuel, and the rocket is becoming lighter and lighter as it goes, but the thrust from the engines stays the same. I mean, they I'm sure they do their throttle up and throttle down like a normal flight profile, but for all intents and purposes for this explanation, the thrust of the engines don't change. They're still just as powerful even when the engine or when the fuel tanks are almost empty. So the rocket gets much lighter when that fuel is gone, and they actually need that extra support to keep the rocket on the ground. Otherwise, it would break those hold down clamps and take off.
Is that a grasshopper there in the background?
Yeah. Old grasshopper.
Long and short is they're trying to keep this from becoming grasshopper.
Right. It ain't even got legs, man. Look, the legs are not on board right now, so they need to make sure.
Hold on, they're not going to grab back onto it if they break off.
Right. Yeah. So that's it. And as far as Delta Heavy, well, the best thing we got is, and I think again pretty sure it was Michael Baylor that pointed out that there is an FCC filing for the 15th.
That was Nate.
Oh yeah, Nate Barker. pointed out that there's a possibility that they're looking at the 15th, but always keep your eyes peeled to ULA and the NRO, whoever feels, or Tory, whoever feels like they want to be the one to announce it.
Somebody asked Tory today, and ULA responded with, "We are looking at the information and we'll update as soon as we have that information."
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
They updated with a non-answer.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So don't take the 15th as gospel, but it's not this week. More than likely. Nice. Yeah, it would be nice. Is there anything else anybody needs to add? Is there anything in the chat we missed?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Here.
Hey,
Thanks
let's make sure to give out your. Where do you want people to find you? You got your Twitter.
Twitter is probably the easiest way in terms of following along, and then the patrons, how I keep the lights on and how I keep doing the cool stuff you see.
Yeah, y'all. Trevor's doing this full time, y'all. So if you feel like if you really like his content and you want to throw him a couple bucks, it definitely helps because it ain't free. It ain't free to live here on the Space Coast.
No, it's not.
Oh, I wish it were.
Yeah, it would be nice. And also, he's got a YouTube. Just search for Trevor Mahlmann. And I'll, if you're watching this later, I'll have his name in the title, although we will be adding the other part of the title.
How do make rocket photo?
How do make rocket photo? Yes. All right. Well, that has been a show. Thanks, Eric, Harry, Kyle. Who else is in there? Paul. Paul's from Montana, and I spent a few years in my childhood up there in Montana. It's beautiful. He said that I made the right choice leaving, except for the fact that they don't have rockets. I think it would be a great place to be.
I scared him with my moon photo.
Maybe I can get inspired by China and start launching.
Yeah. John Krause, whoever that is, was in here. Daryl. Yeah. Okay. Meep. All right.
Meep.
Everybody.
You say John Krause?
Yeah, that's some loser. All right.
Wow, you guys are so nice to your friends. I'm glad I'm not your friend.
You can take it. All right. Peace out. Plays out. It makes your teeth turn green. Comet. It tastes like gasoline. Comet. It makes you vomit. So won't you comet and vomit with me?
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.